Jai Hind, this is Brigadier Hemant Mahajan. I compliment everybody for on the occasion of Kargil Day, which is 26th of July 1999, when the Indian Army defeated the Pakistani army and the last soldier, Pakistani soldier who had entered our territory in Kargil was thrown out. So this was the successful completion of a very important war fought in the mighty Himalayas, and therefore 26 July each year is celebrated as a Vijay Diwas or Operation Vijay. In next 30 to 40 minutes, I will present to you as to how this war in Kargil was fought and how bravely the soldiers of ours defeated the Pakistani army. Let us not forget this brave acts of Indian soldiers because we lost a large number of them. When you look at the Kargil sector basically is surrounded on three sides. You have the northern areas. I hope you can see my cursor. Let me these are the northern areas. This is the Pakistani occupied Kashmir. Then this is the area which has been given by Pakistan to China. This is the area of Aksai Chin, and this entire area is basically Ladakh. Okay, so Indian Ladakh or Ladakh consists of two districts of district of Kargil and district of Leh. This is where this particular war was fought. The next point that we need to understand is the layout of the ground. There are very important mountain ranges which are there: the Karakoram ranges, the Ladakh ranges, the Great Himalayan ranges, and the Zanskar ranges. If you look at it, basically, Zanskar ranges and Ladakh ranges in between are the valleys of Kargil and Leh, and that is where this war was fought. The next ridgeline is the Karakoram ranges. It is here when the Indian army fought the Chinese army in Ladakh during the Galwan crisis. So this is broadly the geography. As far as this area is concerned, it has got very few roads. There's an important road which starts from Jammu, then it goes to Srinagar. From there, it goes to Kargil, Batalik. Thereafter, it goes to Leh, and there is another road which from Leh also goes towards Himachal Pradesh, also called as the Manali axis. So basically, there are only two important roads which reach Leh and Kargil. One coming from Jammu, Udhampur, Srinagar, and second coming from Himachal Pradesh, the Manali Valley. Now, as far as the important towns are concerned, there are many important towns which are there along this road axis. First, obviously, is the Srinagar city. After that, you have Dras, which is in between. Here is the Zozila Pass. Then you have Kaksar. Then you have Kargil. That is where the war was fought. Kalsi, Nimu, and Leh. These are the important roads, important villages which are there along this axis. This the second axis which goes to from Kalsi goes to Batalik, from Kalsi Da to Batalik. It is in this area that the Kargil War was fought. Okay. I'll quickly go ahead and show you various subsectors where the war was fought. This has been marked with the help of a cubicle. First, you have the Dras subsector, then you have the Kargil subsector, then you have the Batalik subsector, and then you have the Chorbatla subsector. Okay. Now, Kargil sector, when you look at it, it is a very rugged area. Heights vary from 12,000 feet to 18,000 feet. It is most of the time it is snow covered. Barely 2-3 months in a year there is no snow at lower heights. Otherwise, most of the time the area is completely snow covered. The battles were fought right from the height of 12,000 feet to 21,000 feet. You can see how rugged is the terrain. There is no habitation here at all. Now, here are some of the other important areas which are there. You look at the mountains, how they look when there is no snow, there is no human habitation, there is no tree cover, there is absolutely no roads, etc. Everything has to be done on foot, and the ridge lines are razor sharp. Now, look at the various pictures of Kargil Valley, there is no vegetation, there is no infrastructure like roads, airfields, etc. Okay. Now, Kargil, look at the way soldiers have to attack. If you have to attack this feature, these are all soldiers. They have to come like this, like this, like this, and the area is very, very tough. And if enemy is sitting here, then you can observe you very well from the upper height. That means anybody who's at the upper height is at advantage. Now look at this road from Srinagar to Kargil. How dangerous the road is. It was at that point of time one way. Now of course it has become two ways. The road is always prone to avalanche, the snow landslides, etc. So therefore, the area is very, very tough. Various means of transportation are used. Now, what is the strategic importance of Kargil and Leh? Now, if you see, this is a highway, Indian Highway National 1 Alpha, which is there, which goes from very near the LC. What is shown in pink is the LC. LC is line of control. This is the LC. And if you see, this area is very, very near from Kargil. It is very, very near few kilometers. If enemy comes here, he can observe the Kargil town and similarly the other areas. Therefore, if you cut this road, Kargil and Leh will get cut. In 1999, there was only one road which was operational, that is Srinagar Kargil Road. Now, of course, we have an alternate axis, but the fact remains that this road is very, very important. And look at the second road now. This road comes from Jammu, Srinagar, Kargil, it goes to Leh. The second axis from Pathankot via Manali, it goes to Leh. But this is a longer axis. It was built recently. Now it is operational for about 8 to 9 months in a year. Now, another reason why strategically this area is important is that we have the Siachen Glacier here. If you see Siachen Glacier located, this what is shown here is the line of control. You can see the line of control. This side is Pakistan. It is written here. We have Pakistani occupied Kashmir, various rivers which are there, and towards our side is Mashko, Dras, Kaksar, Kargil, Batalik, Chorbatla, NJ 9842, Siachen. This is all there. So if you cut this road, you can cut the maintenance access to Siachen Glacier, which is strategically very, very important. Okay, I'll go to the next point. Kashmir has always been a bone of contention between India and Pakistan, and right from 47 onwards, Pakistan has been making an all-out effort to capture Kashmir. It fought a war in 1947. It fought a second war in 1965. It fought the third war in 1971 when Pakistan was broken into two separate countries, Pakistan on one side and Bangladesh on the other side. And Kargil War was the last conventional war which was fought to capture Kashmir. You can see Srinagar, you can see Kargil, you can see Batalik, and rest of the area. Skardu is the capital of Pakistan occupied Kashmir. Gilgit Baltistan was recently in limelight. The Chinese want to take the area of Gilgit and Baltistan on want to take it away from Pakistan simply because Pakistan doesn't have the money to pay whatever loans it has taken from the Chinese for building the China-Pakistan economic corridor. Now look at this Indian response, how it was, what difficult features the people had to capture, etc. What had happened was that the intrusion into Pakistan was in the area of Kargil, which were not held by the Indian army. What we have to understand is Kargil Leh border with Pakistan is nearly 1,500 kilometers. Only one brigade or about roughly 3 to 4,000 troops were deployed for guarding the borders, and they were guarding only the important places. While the LOC, which is down south in west of Kashmir, whose length is 780 kilometers, there is more than 2 lakh troops which are guarding that border. This area was considered remote. This area, the strategists thought that nobody can come and capture this area. Even if they come and capture this area, they cannot hold on to it because the area is very difficult. How will they maintain themselves? So Kargil was never considered an important target at all. Now, when India decided, when India realized that Pakistan had come inside and and occupied certain mountain tops where there was no army, India decided that we will evict Pakistan from there. Generally, in the month of May 1999, this was detected. Now, these are our three service chiefs, and the hero of this war, of course, is General Ved Prakash Malik, under whose leadership the Indian Army fought and won this war. Okay. Now, next is what we have to understand is as to what was India's strategy. India's strategy was clear. India's strategy was to ensure that Pakistan did not start the war along the whole borders. So therefore, we ensured that on the international border, that is down south from Jammu downward, this area, we kept our Indian army ready there so that Pakistan could not come there and Pakistan could not only focus there. In addition to this, we transferred our navy towards this side so that Pakistan was scared that they'll be blockaded at Karachi. So therefore, they kept the war restricted only to the area of Kargil and Leh. Okay. The next issue that we need to understand is that we maintain pressure on Pakistan on the complete line of control sector and the international border sector so that they did not move their army elsewhere. And we thereafter we had our strategic balance. We ensured that our air force and navy were ready should it escalate into a full-fledged war, etc. So now let us look at as to how the operation ultimately commenced in what manner. The Indian Army concentrated massive amount of artillery. You can see the artillery guns here, and this was used to fire on the Pakistani pickets. Okay, and it was decided that Pakistan will be attacked from the correction. We will attack the area which Pakistan has captured or Pakistan is occupied from two directions, one from the Dras side and one from the Kargil side, so that Pakistan is not able to run away. We had a overwhelming superiority of forces, etc. At point of application, we had two divisions which were there, which were fighting this war on our behalf. One was 6 Mountain Div, and second one was the 3 Div, which was located there. Okay, these are the areas where they were concentrated. Aim was to cut off the routes of maintenance of Pakistan. And ultimately, Operation Vijay or the Kargil War was launched on 18th of May to stop Pakistanis. And this was called, the name given was Operation Vijay. And this was a operation in which our soldiers showed patriotism, bravery, valor, grit, determination, and sacrifice. It was actually soldiers really fighting war in a way that they had to go into the valley of death because in the mountainous area it is not easy to capture areas up on the top. The speed with which Indian Army reacted and the speed with which our companies and battalions and various regiments attacked Pakistanis actually surprised the Pakistanis hell of a lot. And in addition to that, we wanted to use our Air Force also, but the Air Force was not particularly useful in this area. Now, there are various battles that were fought in Operation Vijay. One was the Mashko sector. In the Dras sector, there were three subsectors, Mashko, Sando, and Bimbar. Yeah, and the places are given here, Vijay Hill Complex, Pimple, Nada Hill, 0.4875. These are all places where Indian Army fought and captured those areas from the Pakistani soldiers. What we have to understand is Pakistan initially tried to say that it is the terrorists or it is their mujahids who have come inside this area, but that was not the case. It was a regular Pakistani army which had come inside in the guise of mujahid. They had given up their uniform. They were dressed like terrorists, putting on terrorist-like dresses, but it was proper Pakistani army. Almost about 15,000 to 20,000 Pakistani soldiers of the Northern Light Infantry were used in this area. The other sectors in this war was the Kargil sector, which had Chorbatla and Kaksar, then the Batalik sector, in which we fought battles at Jubar, Karatan Ridge, Muntagalo, Khalubar, Chubar, and in the Turtuk and the Siachen subsector, we had subsector Hanif, in which Captain Hanifuddin was martyred. He got a Veer Chakra for it. Okay, now we will only very briefly cover the major battles as they were there. First is the Battle of Tololing. Now, Tololing is located at the height of 17,000 feet. Look at this height. You can see it on the map. You can see it on this thing also. Now, imagine capturing, going such a long distance, capturing a picket at the height of 17,000 feet is not easy. You can see Tololing is shown here. It was just ahead of Dras, and was the first battle in which it was decided that we attack Tololing from two directions, from the area of 5140 and from the area of Dras. And Tololing was very important because it dominated the Dras sector and the national highway. So therefore, attack was launched on this feature. The attack initially was stalled. Again, second battle was fought. Four more attacks were launched, and finally, between 22nd May and 2 June, they were repulsed. We had very heavy casualties on our troops. Then again, we made plans from 3rd to 11th June. Fresh attacks were launched, and ultimately the enemy gave up, and the Tololi was captured. It was captured, remember, after 1 month of fierce battle. I repeat, 1 month of fierce battle. We also suffered very heavy casualties, and so did Pakistan. And this actually was the turning point in Operation Vijay, because then it was realized that now we can capture Tiger Hill and the other objectives. These are the heroes of Tololing who captured Tololing, and a lot of blood was shed here. What we have to understand is the soldiers and the officers who were involved in this war all were very young officers and young soldiers. Today, because of Agniveer, some debate has started where a person with only 4 years in the army really fight for the army or not. All these people, such young people from 18 to 22, average age of a soldier in Kargil War was between 19 or 20 to 21 or 22. All of them had barely 1 to 2 years or 2 to 3 years service in the army, but they fought well because their leadership was very good. And these are the people who did us proud. They were the two heroes. One is Major Adhikari, who was awarded Mahavir Chakra after his death, and second is the 2IC Lieutenant Colonel Vishwanathan, who was awarded the Veer Chakra. These were the two heroes of the Toloring battle. Then next one was the battle for point 4875, also called as the Batra Top. Now this is the place which we had to capture. Now look at it. Batra Top is at the height of 16,000 feet. It was later called Batra Top because Captain Vikram Batra was the hero who was responsible for capture of this particular feature. Look at the road, look at the height, etc. And the battle of initially it was called point 4875. It was a very important feature because it was dominating the national highway 1 Alpha, and it was held by the Pakistani by a company. It was a formidable feature. Fierce battles were fought on 5th and 6th of July, and enemy launched counterattack, Pakistan launched counterattack, and ultimately in this war, we lost one of our most courageous soldiers, a dynamic young leader in Captain Vikram Batra, and therefore point 4875 now has been called as Batra Top. It's a tribute to the departed hero. And this is the point 4875, which you can see on the top how tough the area is, but Vikram Batra is not there in the feature. But this was Captain Vikram Batra, and one needs to tell about his bravery. Just before he went in for attack on Batra Top, the TV channels had come at Dras to interview him. And that is the time he said, yes, we have captured one picket, but we now want to capture another picket. And tonight I am going to do it. And this video is available on the internet, in which Vikram Batra was interviewed. Vikram Batra was called Sher Shah by his troops because he was extremely brave. He was barely 23 years of age. His photograph is available, his bravery is available on the internet. This brave officer also gave a very important quote when he told the reporters who had come there that ye dil mange more. We have captured one picket, but we want to capture Batra Top or 0.4785. Uh, Vikram Batra was the hero, and he also received the first Paramveer Chakra of this war. The next was Tiger Hill, which was the highest battle field in this area. And Tiger Hill was an important tactical feature because it dominated vast area of the Dras sector. So attacks were launched on this, and the height of Tiger Hill was 17,100 feet. Look at this top, how difficult it is. And it was from here that the Indian Army launched one attack. Second attack was launched from here. Third attack was launched from here. And ultimately, Tiger Hill was captured with lot of blood was lost in this area. Now, in this battle of Tiger Hill, which was captured on 4th, there were one brave soldier whose name needs to be spoken about is Grenadier Yogender Yadav of 18 Grenadiers. He was a Sipahi at that point of time, barely 20 years of age. Today, now, luckily, he was injured very gravely, but luckily he survived and he was awarded the second Paramveer Chakra of this war. Today, he is a Subedar Major and honorary captain of the 18th Grenadiers. So, second award was won here. The next is the Batalic subsector or the Batalic sector, which is between Turtuk and the Siachen Glacier. It is marked here. Now, this attack here again was very time consuming, again very difficult. You can see various mountain ranges that were there. You can see various nalas that were there. And you can see how our troops had to go over these areas. Now, the area which is shown in red was the area which was supposed to be attacked, Jubar, Kalubahar, and Kurthang. Now, and this is where we launched our attacks. Now, 0.5203, this was held by Pakistan's one platoon. Look at the rugged area. Look at where Pakistanis had constructed their sangars. But look at the places from where the Indian army climbed these places. One would remember that in Maharashtra, Tanaji Malusare during Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's time captured Kundana by coming from a different direction by using a ghorpat. Now, something similar was done here. Cliff assault was done from this direction. Another attack was done from this direction. Some commandos came from here, some came from behind, and that is how this picket was ultimately captured. So a lot of blood was lost in the area of 0.5203, but ultimately from various directions this attack took place, and the battalions which were there were 12 Jackali, 5 Para. Ultimately, the complete area was captured. Uh, Again, we lost a lot of soldiers in this area, and this area was ultimately cleared up from the enemy soldiers. Now, just because of lack of time, I'm not trying to get into the complete detail of the other battles which took place at Kalubahar, or I'll not talk about the battle, how the plan was made, how they attacked, how ultimately the complex was captured, how 22 Grenadiers and 1111 GR ultimately won. But you can just see the area where the soldiers are now standing and dancing with their kukris after the picket was captured. Look at this area where Battle of Jubar, where they captured this area also from the Pakistani side. Jubar was another very tough battle in which 17 Garhwal took part in this battle. And here you can see 0.41 Jubar top, Jubar off, OP, etc., and the difficult areas from where the Indian Army captured. And this is a photo actually of Jubar top. Look at it, how difficult it is to go there. And if somebody is occupying that area, how difficult it will be to evict the enemy who's sitting at such an important height. So ultimately, the complete area which was there, which Pakistan had occupied in various subsectors, was captured, and then ultimately the attention turned towards Turtuk. Now, Turtuk is somewhere near Siachen Glacier. Again, here almost two companies of Pakistan were there, and this area of 0.6024, area of Saddle, area of 0.5590, etc., and the Kachin Glacier which is there, this was captured after a tough fight. Now, this you can have a look at how rugged the area is, how tough the whole going is, and what kind of a bravery our soldiers would have shown. And these are the victors of the soldiers who were responsible for the capture. So basically, on 10th of July, most of the Pakistani soldiers had been evicted, and Pakistan was told if anybody is remaining, then you take them back. Otherwise, they are going to attack those people also. Nearly 95% of Pakistani soldiers had been killed. Now, ultimately, on 26th of July, every Pakistani soldier was outside the Indian area. And Pakistan, as far as Pakistan was concerned, Pakistan at that point of time, the Pakistani Prime Minister was Nawaz Sharif, the Pakistani Army Chief was Musharraf, and it is Musharraf who is believed to have carried out this operation. And one would remember that at that point of time, in our country, Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the Prime Minister, General Ved Prakash Malik was the Army Chief, and just after Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji had gone to Lahore to have a good relations with Pakistan. It was at the same time that Pakistan was infiltrating their army into the unheld areas of Kargil. But Benazir Bhutto later has said that Kargil was their biggest blunder. In fact, Pakistan was so scared that it did not even recognize that its soldiers had taken part in this war. The soldiers' families were not told about it. Pakistani media did not talk about it, but Pakistan, as per the official report, later confirmed that they lost 772 of their soldiers, including 69 officers. Imagine that's a very high ratio, and their wounded were more than 1,000 plus. But later, Nawaz Sharif has said that the number of people who were killed were 1,500 and more than 2,000 were wounded. That means Pakistan lost very heavily in this war. And later, Northern Light Infantry, which was responsible for carrying out this attack, was recognized for their gallantry by the Pakistani army. As far as we are concerned, our casualties were heavy. Indian Army lost 478 of their brave soldiers, and wounded was seriously wounded was 1122, and the officer casualties were very heavy. If you look at the casualties, killed officers were 25 and wounded were 57, and 60% of these officers were killed during assault because the Indian Army follows the method of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, where officers lead from the front. But if the officers don't lead from the front, then the soldiers will not fight as they want. Now General Ved Prakash Malik is also talked about. He said that the Indian Army fought very well. He complimented the ones who got gallantry awards and the units who got unit citation, etc. But now, what is the present state is what we need to know at this point of time. Actually, Operation Vijay in effect is a story of those valiant soldiers who faced the most difficult odds in warding off Pakistan's grand design. It is a classical example of blood for freedom, which was done by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. The blood was there in abundance in the form of supreme sacrifice made by the soldiers during Operation Vijay. But but also let us remember that we should today compliment these brave soldiers. We should remember these soldiers who gave their today for our tomorrow. So the final tribute is a nation without heroes is a nation without future. The heroes here was Captain Vikram Batra, Lieutenant Vijayan Thapar, Major Acharya, and so on and so forth, Rifleman Sanjay Kumar, etc. But Operation Vijay brought out some really good heroes, and they all recognized afterwards. A lot of films were made on Operation Vijay, and young officers, JSUs and Jawans of Indian Army really showed their courage under fire, and their unwavering leadership, their unflinching followers, etc., ensured that Pakistan was ultimately thrown out. So the soldiers of Indian Army have stood the test of times, and they have never failed the nation when it was required. Now, the issue is Kargil War is over 23 years back. Now what? Uh, what is that is going to happen today? One would remember in 2000, 2 years back in Galwan, another battle was fought against the Chinese, in which we killed the Chinese 70 soldiers, and we lost 70 soldiers in correction, 20 soldiers in the bargain, including the CO of the Bihar battalion who was martyred in this action. Will there be another Kargil? Presently, it looks unlikely because Pakistan's economy is not up to the mark, but Pakistan will continue to carry out terrorist actions in Kashmir. As far as China is concerned, I was talking today, just today's newspaper talk about Chinese aircraft, fighter aircraft coming near the LAC in our area. So the threat from China of physical war may not come immediately, but the fact remains that China today is fighting with us a war which is called as the hybrid war, or called as the unrestricted war, or called as the gray zone war, or called also as multi-domain war. So we therefore have to prepare ourselves to whichever domain the people come and fight. We have to ensure that we are always ready to fight. Today, the challenges in front of the nation are many, and how will we overcome these challenges? Most important issue that is there today is that in addition to the soldiers who will fight who will fight when required, but today our country faces challenges in which every Indian citizen has to be a part of a force which defends our country, be it in the area of psychological warfare, be it in the area of information warfare, be it in the area of disinformation warfare, be it economic challenges, be it challenges in terms of cyber attack. Every Indian should behave like a soldier, and he should ask himself a question like the Indian Army soldiers, that what can I do for the country? It is not adequate that because just few days back our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, he talked about wars will not now be fought only on the borders, but wars are also being fought inside the country. And one example is the Corona or the COVID-19 or the Chinese virus, which nearly paralyzed our economy, and in which 7 lakh Indians 7 lakh Indians died in this coronavirus or the Chinese virus. China will continue to trouble us. Pakistan will help out China. Pakistan's terrorism will continue. Pakistan will make attempt to once again start terrorism in the state of Punjab. They are already engaged in what is called as the narco-terrorism battle in the state of Punjab. So therefore, Pakistan and China axis, aided and abetted by their supporters inside the country, will continue to ensure that that India does not prosper, that India does not progress. So therefore, we have to protect ourselves in all the domains if we want to prosper, and if we want to meet the China and the Pakistan challenge. In fact, it is said that we have to fight a three-front war. One front being China, second front being Pakistan, and the third front being inside the country. When war starts with these two countries, there will be Naxals or the Maoists who will carry out attacks in the central part of the country. In Kashmir Valley, the terrorists will increase their activity. Some kind of an insurgency may start in the area of northeast. So therefore, we have to be ready. And before I close, I also must tell you that conventional war may not be coming may not be forthcoming immediately. But today, again, today's newspapers were talking about Chinese companies, especially the phone makers, especially the ones who are producing handsets. They have looted almost 5.5 billion dollars worth money from India and sent it to China. So there are going to be economic challenges also. So therefore, the most important issue is there are multifarious challenges, but what is the solution to all this is a Deshabhakta Nagrik who will ask the country as to what I can do for the country and not ask for concessions of various types. If every Indian citizen behaves like a soldier, keeps his eyes and ears open, is ready to fight various dangers that come up in the society, will keep our nation safe. So, therefore, the biggest tribute to all the soldiers who were martyred in the Kargil War is to keep our nation safe by always remaining alert. I'll stop here. Jai Hind.